Andre 3000 released a new album.
Yeah,
we got Lil Durk coming out, leaning into his Lil Wayne mode, coming out with his new track, The Smurk Carter. We're gonna review. Snoop Dogg say he's quitting weed.
yeah,
This is crazy.
It's a big moment.
It's crazy.
That was a big part of his brand.
Exactly. So for this Lil Durk track coming up, let's check it out. Who is that's not Lil Durk? Who's that?
Maybe Smurk Carter is a influential guy from the hood in Chicago.
Oh, maybe
I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be the guy that he's talking about.
Interesting.
Because Lil Durk's dad was somebody who was in the streets.
Oh, yeah?
In Chicago. That's kind of...
Smurk Carter. Okay. Nice. Wow. That was great. That's a great line.
This is a huge departure from his style.
No, this is
he rapping for real.
This is
no auto-tune.
No, it's not auto-tune. This is Lil Durk bar for bar.
Definitely say it was influenced. The title's influenced by Wayne.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who the person is in the beginning, but it seemed like one of his dad's homeboys.
Maybe so. The Desert Eagle.
It's interesting because he said he never really vibed with the.
I'm a bad boy. Trap house, my Waffle House.
Yeah.
You know them fights that go down in the Waffle House.
Yeah, nah.
You know, I don't fuck around with Waffle House. Took over the trenches for a century. Money over bitches. For some reason, I attend to them.
I really like this track. This is dope, yo.
That's a nice slant rhyme. Very nice. This is definitely one of the top tracks of 2023.
Durk been coming with that heat though, and you know, for anybody who thinks that he isn't evolving, you know, I think for a while because he was in the beef with NBA YoungBoy after the whole Vaughn situation, they were trying to make it seem like it's his fault that all of this stuff is happening. You know, with FBG Doug passing and other people in the streets of Chicago passing, like they almost made it seem like it's his fault for all of the violence, but it's not exactly like that. All this stuff that he's talking about has been going on.
Yeah, it's
important that he highlighted that this gang stuff started when he was a kid. He didn't choose the life. He grew up in the life. You know what I'm saying? And
this is true.
He already had beef from a child. Like, that's crazy, yo.
That's when it begins sometimes. It's when the habits are learned.
I could definitely say that growing up in a similar environment, it's not always your choice, right? Like,
it's what you learn.
Some people have to really get out of the life, and they got to try harder to get out of the life because their uncles, their cousins, their aunties, all of them people do that.
It's just tradition. Having to deal with drive-bys before I could buy cigarettes, like it's just one of those things. You grow and you learn from it. Some lyrics that I like from this track: you know, money and power got the trenches united, got some members indicted over money and violence. I was raised in the jungle with snakes, rats, and some lions. Now the pellies for winners, dope boys, and giants. Daddy took over the streets. Larry Hoover was my age when weed was so cheap, selling drugs off my space. I'm a gangster at heart, could stop a war with my face. Mama, I said I'm sorry for putting you through the mind games. There's some nice lyrics, nice
you can
rhyme
tell he's
schemes.
in a good mental headspace, even though he lost his brother, he lost his homie in Vaughn. He's still trying to mature. You know, I get tired of people making these narratives about anybody who's in gangster rap, like they can't mature, like they can't
grow
evolve.
or change.
And it's like, that's not true. The people really need to start listening to these artists and their pain and their trauma, and stop writing it off like it's just something that they're bringing on themselves. That's not how it. That's not how it is.
Yeah, it's not always like that. There's always a fork in the road at some point where you can choose a different life, and many rappers have. We've seen that with Gucci Mane and what he's trying to do right now as well. Lil Durk maybe he's taking a page from the OGs and saying, you know what, this life is not sustainable. Can't do this shit forever. Can't always be ganging banging forever. And
Jay-Z's before him. Like, it's been plenty of artists who
forever
come out the streets and they've been very successful people. Now they're moguls, and it's like, I like to see him taking that route. I don't want to see him, fall victim to the same stuff. Right?
No, and I love that transition from rapper to business owner. I love that. I'm always going to highlight on that because I feel like entrepreneurship is one of those keys to escape the jail of the 9 to 5. And I've escaped it, and I'm happy to escape it. When it comes down to hip hop, you have to be sensitive to what the fans want, unless you in an echo chamber with just I by yourself. And we have one of the biggest artists of all time finally listening to the fans and the hip-hop critics. Drake got all kinds of shade for his For All the Dogs album because it was too pussy. It was singing and rapping was very little compared to the singing.
He was collabing with a lot of young artists instead of going and getting OGs, and people just felt like it was tone deaf.
It was soft. It didn't have flow. We reviewed it on our channel, and we said it failed to meet our expectations. And we know Drake is
a 20+ track project.
Of what we know Drake is capable of, we know he didn't live up to the expectations we had.
Yeah.
Guess what? Drake responded
Yep.
to both our critique and everyone else in the industry.
We got
He
them
responded.
scary hours.
You know what it was? Drake saw our episode. That's what did it. He saw our episode. He's like, you know what? I don't know who these.
I got to do it for From the Jump
I don't
because
know.
they're my real fans.
I don't know who these From the Jump characters are, but their points, man, they resonate with me.
We
And
not
I
like Button.
can't-
We not haters.
I
We
can't-
just want the best from you, Drake.
As a result, because I've been trying to get out, as a result of the critics, us included in our channel, in our episode about All the Dogs by Drake has responded and called a lifeline. Who is that lifeline?
J. Cole. Because I mean,
Called J.
you say,
Cole.
you gotta
with his new track, Evil Ways.
Yeah.
And so with this new track, Evil Ways, we're gonna see if J. Cole can bring out the Drake we know and love. So let's check out Evil Ways featuring J. Cole, and this is off of a brand new EP. Yeah,
It's a continuation of his Scary Hours series. This is, I think, Scary Hours number 3. He has a couple other ones, and people really like these because this is usually him just rapping.
Yes. So let's check it out with J. Cole and see what Drake's got. To start it off, we got the background singers.
With the soul sample, it's nice.
Soul sample from back in the
Can't
day.
handle the soul sample.
All right, so we got some background texture setting it up. I got some evil ways. Be amazed.
Oh, some back and forth.
Oh man, I love that
I'm
rhyme
not in
scheme.
need of praise, yo.
I love that rhyme scheme.
And they keeping the same end rhyme. That's dope.
It's nice. I don't need a raise.
Hey, I see why you going on tour with Drake then. You know,
Yeah.
you trying to get that paper. That light skin energy though. That's that light skin energy. Let's not forget
No
that.
comment. No comment.
Dang. You ain't getting no bread. You in a keto phase. Hey, we said he wrote this for us. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
I feel like it's a very personal track. Sheesh.
Where you can't see the stage.
Wow.
Oh man. This is the Drake we need.
Like an Indian marriage, it could be arranged. Come on now.
This is the Drake we need.
Yeah, he proving his point here. That's what I can say.
Yes.
Whether people want to acknowledge his projects or not, he knows he has it,
And Cole's about to close it off. Be the Braves.
Wow.
Scary hours undefeated. Y'all should be
Scary hours undefeated. Y'all should be afraid.
There's some fire. There's some fire.
Yeah, this is what we needed, man. Look, first person shooter was. I'm glad it was like a precursor to what they was really about to do.
So some people have said this is like a spiritual successor to first person shooter.
For sure,
So a lot of people are saying that. To quote King of the Hill, I'll tell you what. They use the same 3-syllable rhyme scheme the entire song.
Yes,
that's clever, and it didn't get old, and it sounded fresh.
And they bounce back and forth relatively frequently,
which is dope. And that classic trading bars style that we know and love from the 90s and never
they did it seamlessly. It was laced with lyricism.
Very nice.
All the way throughout.
Tell us, whose verse do you think was better, Drake's or Cole's? Vote in the comments. Whose verse do you think is better?
And this was a great trading of bars. Like I can't say that I've heard a ton of songs, especially in this day and age, where people do that so seamlessly. So
I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss that. You know, the Dr. Dre and Eminem trading bars for bars.
Drake is one of those artists that when he receives criticism, he has a way to respond to it, right? Like some artists don't do that. They just let the criticism sit. Drake, even with his that Honestly Nevermind project, when people were criticizing him too much, what did he do? He dropped Her Loss like immediately after. He's like, he doesn't let any stink sit on him. He's like,
if
y'all don't like this, I got something else for you.
When you have a team when you have a team of 100 ghostwriters, I'm sure it's easy to come up with an album like that.
But Eminem did an interview about Kendrick Lamar, and at first he didn't think Kendrick was legit. He didn't think his pen game was like that. So what he did was he forced himself into a session with Kendrick to watch him write. And that was when he actually started believing in him, because he was like, this dude, his pen game is just too dope. There's no way he's writing this stuff. And so I don't know if like Cole locked himself in the studio with Drake and was like, all right, bro, we writing this together. Ain't no way I'm gonna let a ghostwriter on here with us. Like
you know what this track is? This track is J. Cole rehabilitating Drake from being Nicki Minaj's side piece type rapper to the Drake we know and love.
Exactly.
That's what happened.
Like, bro, I gotta bring you on home, bro.
That's what happened.
Hey, we did need this. Thanks, Cole. Thanks, Cole, for bringing these evil ways out of Drake.
They the ghost like Messi, Ronaldo coming together. I really see this.
It's beautiful.
Like,
this is the type of stuff where we're like, oh, we want to see Kendrick and Cole together, or we want to see Kendrick and these other artists that are big in the game, come together and make music. This is what we want.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, we rarely get this, and I'm glad we're getting it.
Well, now we got a tour coming up with OVO Click meets Dreamville. I'll be there for it.
As big as the what?
I'll be there for it.
Super Bowl,
If they come to Austin, Texas, I'll be there for it.
I think they coming to San Antonio, man.
I may make the drive because
$500 right now pre-sale.
Oh, fuck that shit.
I see why Cole's going on tour with that.
Yeah, but man, fuck all that noise.
I would like it to be a little bit more approachable.
500?
Yeah,
I will pay 100, but I wouldn't go above that.
Yeah, I've been to a Drake concert like back in the day where I felt like it was prime with Lil Wayne, and my wife did want to go see him, but when she saw the ticket price, she was like, "Babe, we could just go to Cabo San Lucas." No. And I was like, "I agree, we can go to Cabo. I would much rather go to Cabo."
If $500 could get me a round trip ticket to somewhere and I could just enjoy myself, I'd rather do that instead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm sorry, and enjoy the.
One of the most iconic weed in my rappers, Snoop Dogg, recently announced he ain't gonna smoke weed anymore. Isn't that crazy? And Meek Mill folded up and said, I got some emphysema. My doctor told me I should stop.
Yeah.
By the way, instead of endangering my life further, I'm going to take a page from Snoop and I'm going to stop smoking.
I think that everybody has to make their own life decisions. And it's like, although that's been a big part of his brand, I like seeing black men choose their health over their status, their iconic nature. We see a lot of people dying from drug overdoses, and obviously, marijuana is necessarily considered dangerous, but smoking anything is carcinogenic, and it does create problems in the lungs, in the throat. Well, it's dangerous. Like you're consuming smoke, and it's like, at the end of the day, if you go to the doctor, if your family's concerned about you and they're telling you, hey, you need to quit this thing, you need to do that. Like, some people just don't take heed to stuff like that. Well,
just like we talked about when Gangsta Boo passed away, and rest in peace, Gangsta Boo from 3 6 Mafia. The fact is that she passed away from an unintentional fentanyl overdose.
Yes.
These days, you don't know anymore if someone hands you something what it's got laced in it.
Like I say, I just respect people putting their health first, especially because, black men have a tragic history of dying too young, at the wrong times, at the wrong places. For him to continue to live on and continue to basically keep that powerful legacy that he has to survive.
He has to survive. Snoop Dogg is a rich rapper. He's got his money.
Yeah.
He actually had hired a professional blunt roller.
He did.
And she said that she had rolled over 450,000 blunts for Snoop Dogg since she worked for him, and that the average daily blunt rolls averaged from 75 to 150.
Now, I was reading an article where
blunts a day.
Snoop was talking about also, kind of his greatest pot smoking experiences, right? And he was saying, shout out to Austin. Willie Nelson
really
is the only person that's ever smoked him out. Like, he went to Amsterdam with Willie Nelson, and he just blew his back out. Yeah, he was like, bro, how are you doing this? It's like, that's funny that's the one person. He's like, yeah, ain't no rapper ever blew me out, but Willie Nelson blew me out. And I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting.
Willie Nelson came to my elementary school and played some songs, and even at that age, I knew he was high.
I watched him perform at ACL some years back, right after LL Cool J, actually, and it was like, that was one of my favorite festivals just because of the diversity of the shows. I think Kendrick was also there that year, and you know, you haven't never seen artists, you don't really know what to think, right? Like Willie Nelson, I know he's a legend, but it was like when you get to experience legendary music that close up, like whether it's my taste or not, it was fire. It was good music. I was like, okay, you know, he's got his pedigree for a reason.
Well, on your country review channel, you can talk about that in detail.
Exactly.
But so, what do you guys think about Snoop Dogg's decision to stop smoking bud? Do you think it's the right decision? I think it's important to evaluate your lifestyle for cause and effect. And what did you think about this new track with Drake and J. Cole? And were you let down, or were you expecting something different when Andre 3000 released his newest album that came out just a couple days back? Comment below, like and subscribe, and tune in for another episode of From the Jump.